Cool. So should I?
Yeah, if you can screen share and just pull up the AWS console and the pfSense console, and then we can just run through and check what needs to happen.
Sure. Yeah. So okay. So here's pfSense. Take a look at the IPsec VPN here, and then let me pull up AWS real quick. Okay, so we have a VPN down. It's this one. Tunnel detail says down, status down. And let me see. I think I have the. Yeah, here's the config file from that. But essentially, I don't know where you want to start. This is the VPN right here. And the status is down. This other one we got to work, but this one I just can't get connected.
It's not a problem. You go back to the pfSense and you need to change your local subnet.
This here?
Let me just come back to yes.
Okay.
So your local network. If you can you go back to the config that you got from AWS?
Yeah. Right here.
That should have. So inside virtual, the customer gateway. So that's /30. Hold on. We're doing it as a tunnel. Okay. So this one is a tunnel rather than yeah. So rather than it being tunnels, it's a tunneled interface. Can you go to the mode on the pfSense?
Yeah. I think is that phase 1?
No, just at the top here it says mode tunnel IPv4.
Oh, gotcha.
What's in the drop down there? Transport is what you need.
You need transport?
Yeah. So the keys and everything should match.
So what's the difference there then?
So what will happen now is we need to create a virtual interface with the with those IP addresses that they had in the config for the tunnel endpoints. So you create and that way you can pass any traffic over it using static routes rather than just specific traffic that you've encapsulated in your tunnel.
So what's the difference there then? Because the other one we have was working that way.
Yeah. So the other one you have was possibly created slightly differently. I mean, we can do it the other way, but I suppose then if you can just go back to the VPC console for a second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm cool with doing it in a different way, just as long as I know like the why behind it, you know.
Yeah.
Because this is the virtual
So can
interface.
you show me how you created your virtual connection in here?
Man, I can't remember.
So if we just go create, yeah.
Yeah, I created the VPN connection. I can't remember. There's a couple parts to this that I had to do, and then
Yeah, so at the bottom there, you would have selected static or BGP.
Static.
Okay. And you entered all those prefixes.
Yes, I believe so. Can you see on the
Yeah,
other?
cancel. I think you can. Yeah, the
Yeah.
static. Okay, so what we need to do then is on the other side. Actually, if you can click on the first one, and then go edit. Sorry, in the VPC console.
Oh,
If you
here.
click on that, yeah, the first source. Okay, well, you don't need the default 00000. And what is your subnet on the pfSense side of the network?
Um, let's see. Well, I had it here, I think. Yeah, we'll see, because this is how we have this. The other one configured is just as
Yeah.
00. Um, and so this is the part I don't understand.
So the local network for that pfSense, what is it? Do you know?
I mean, there's multiple VLANs that are
Okay.
different virtual interfaces on this firewall.
Yeah. So, but
So
they do not fall into a common subnet.
not really. I mean, here I guess I can show you
Okay.
this part of it here. So here's the different subnets that we have. They're all on different interfaces, and they're trunked through switch that we have.
Yeah. Well, I
Um,
mean, you've got, if you can go back just quickly to the VPC management console,
uh-huh.
and your prefix. So your VPC prefix is obviously, well, sorry, if you can do the, I'm just thinking out loud. If you can go back to the VPN on the pfSense and change the local subnet to the 10.30, and we'll see if we just need to set up multiple tunnels. Are you using 10 dot addressing inside inside AWS as well?
Yeah. So this is
This is where it's
so
going to be very tricky then, because you can't really do 10.0/16 to 10.0/16. It'll get very confused. So if you put in that 10 in the local network at the top, put in 10.30. Whatever the .0.0, I think it was a /24, was it?
yeah, 10.30. So actually, this is maybe this will help a little bit too if I can go back to this for just 1 second.
Uh-huh.
Here's what's weird, I guess. It looks like we don't have VPN connections for the other tunnel that we have.
Yeah.
So, so I don't get how that one's working.
In the top, you've got a search there. In
Uh-huh.
the top of that list, if you click the X, maybe you've got multiples in there.
Oh, we do. Okay. Okay, so this one is specifically giving us access to it's like a 10 dot, yeah, this one right here, this VPC here,
Yeah.
1038.3.
Uh-huh. So that one's
That's
configured. It should come up. I mean, if we try and put that .30 addressing into that first tunnel, it should come up. My concern, as you see, you've got a /16 at one end, 10.0/16, and then at your end, your local end, you're also 10.0/16. So it tends to reject. The routers will reject that because it creates a circular route. But if we can do it with specific routes, we should be able to make it work.
Gotcha. Well, because the 10.30 is like the open VPN subnet, so that's the IP when I connect
Yeah,
to the.
it doesn't really matter. I mean, we can start with that one. We'll make 3 or 4 tunnels for all the different subnets. But it's, if we can get that first one running, then it just shows that it's easy enough to do the others.
Gotcha. So the reason that we're doing this though too is, um, so what I did before, like this 10/16 network
Yeah.
has a RDS instance on it,
Uh-huh.
and what I was before is I was just putting the route over this other VPC that's already working. I was that
Yeah.
IPsec tunnel. I just propagated the routes from that, and obviously there's a security risk in that because it gives those components access to each other. Those network segments we're trying to
Yeah.
isolate.
That makes sense.
So that's the only thing. I guess that's the kind of more of the goal there. I just wanted to share that.
Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, if you go back to the pfSense firewall now, on that configuration. So yeah, if you put /24 with the little drop down.
right there.
Yep. Let's assume everything else matches and is okay, or we want AES 128, SHA-1, PFS2. Yeah, 3600. Yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, you can put a host in there if you really want to keep the tunnel up.
Oh, do you have to do that?
You don't have to, but you can put if you put a pingable host in there, then it will generate traffic to keep it up, to keep the tunnel up.
Oh, so something on this 16 network?
Yeah, correct. If something on the AWS side just for it to ping, like I say, it's totally optional.
If I don't do that, will it cause the
No, it should
IPsec?
work. Absolutely, it should work fine.
And it won't cause like network interference or anything like to like the tunnel will go down all of a sudden.
Only when no traffic's on it, but the speed at which it should establish it should be quick enough that the first packet doesn't get dropped anyway.
Oh,
It's a transport tunnel, so it's designed to sort of go up and down on demand.
gotcha. Huh, okay. So then we apply those changes?
Yep.
Okay. And
And
do we just want to try to connect them again?
yeah, if we can.
Okay. So connecting, should we look at the logs here? What I was noticing, and I put the logging up to like as high as it would go,
Okay.
but it's connection 3000 is what it'll show up. And the issue I was seeing is we were talking to the tunnel and like the authentication part was working, but the tunnel wasn't talking. It wasn't, or the AWS side wasn't talking back to us.
Yeah, so with IPsec you have phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 is the authentication. Phase 2 is sort of the tunnel. I suspect it's failing on phase 2.
Yeah. Okay, here it is. Sending packet from. Oh no, that's still phase 2, or that's still the other IPsec VPN.
Yeah. Have you got a console on this firewall?
Yeah. Do you want me to SSH into it?
Yeah, if you can. And
We can just.
I was going to say if you just do a ping dash. Oh crap! It's BSD, isn't it? basically on the source interface. So I think it's -I, and then what 10 dot? Which one was it? It was which? Hang on. Can you just switch back to the AWS and go to the static routes on the correct tunnel here? So it's a /16. We put /24. So it's .30. Hang on, 30/16 doesn't make any sense. 10.30.0.0/. And what's your if you go back to your PF sentences console, sorry for a second.
Mm-hmm.
The SSH console.
Oh.
So there's the WAN. We can ignore the DMZ. Okay, so carp there. .5. So basically we want. Yeah. Okay. So 30/16 is fine. So if you go to the PF sense now for that tunnel, we set the prefix to a /24. It should have been a /16.
Gotcha. To jump back into phase 2.
Yeah, please.
And let's do 16.
Yeah.
Okay. And apply that.
Yes, please.
I guess. Should we try that again or something? That's today.
That's now, by the looks of it, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, so the authentication part.
And is the tunnel doing anything?
It says connecting. Is down. See, I'll refresh it here. Yeah, it says down still.
Yeah, okay.
And these IPsec logs don't help very much.
They're quite detailed, aren't they?
What's that?
Well, have you got it on debug?
Yeah, that's at the highest it'll go.
Yeah.
Probably should take that down, but.
Let's just have a quick look at the configuration on the other one, the one that's working.
Yeah. Phase 2 or phase 1?
Probably both.
So phase 1 is key exchange v1, opinion 4. It's the same interface. Like we created this interface for the VPC connections. Remote gateway, so that was from the config file.
Yeah.
Main. There's pure address, keys there.
Okay. And I assume this all matches on both of them, on the commonalities of dead pair detection and things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've kind of just side by sided the windows and.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So it's an interesting one because it looks like everything is correct, but I think it's the fact you've got all these overlapping networks is confusing the firewall, and you're getting rejected proposals because of it.
Ah. Yeah, that makes sense. Our network's
Yeah,
kinda...
I mean, looking at this one, you've got the endpoint being that 1038, which is great. And you don't have 10/16 on your local firewall, so that should be fine.
Gotcha. So 1030. So maybe this one's failing too because 1030.00 is like our open VPN. Like that's an IP address that I get when I connect to this.
It is, but you're in the /24, but the /16 goes from 1030.0 to 1030.255. So it basically encompasses your whole network, which is fine, and that makes sense. There's no logging on the Amazon side, is there?
I haven't seen any.
The up under the little spanner. Sorry, not the spanner, the cog.
This here?
Yeah. No. Okay, that's the columns thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, normally it's clickable down in the bottom if there is anything.
Yeah.
So hold on. Let me just double check everything makes sense. Can we just go back to the config file for a second? The one with the my identifier and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let me just read this.
The text to be bigger here.
Oh no, I can read it. Yeah, so it is. It's wanting a tunnel interface. Okay, let's redo this. Let's go to the back to the firewall, the pfSense, and if we go into interfaces,
Okay.
and we need to assign a new one.
Oh, these are like the physical interface. Do we need like a interface?
We want a virtual interface, so a VIF, yeah, virtual IP, I guess.
Yeah.
This is where they put them. Okay, yeah, great. So if we can create an interface there.
Let's see, where's .35's here. So we have to do a new one.
Hold on. No, we need to. If you can you sort of make this window half of the screen and the text file the other half?
Yeah.
So what we need is, if you scroll down a wee bit in that text file, under the tunnel interface configuration, we need to add, oh, so you've got 35. No, that's, so hold on. 35 is your WAN IP address, yeah, correct?
It's a sub inter.
So what we need to do is we need to create a virtual interface of 169.254.12.122.
Oh.
Yeah. So Amazon have created the other end, that 121. We create 122, and then we set some static routes. So I think your old tunnel must be from that old VPC VPN connectivity, because it did change at some point. I can't remember when it did, but it did change.
Oh, you know what? Here's the other one. Oh crap! .62 and .58 I think are the other. I think I have the other config file right here. Yeah, so customer gateway .62, which is right there.
Yeah, so you need to create one like that.
Gotcha. Okay. So a /30 of, and it's actually this one.
Yeah.
IP alias when, and then
go on any interface. It doesn't matter.
Oh, it does. So what would you say this is
It's the customer gateway for, yeah, whatever that VPN is called.
Cool, that look good?
Yep. It's your standards. Whatever you want.
Nice. So I'm wondering why these are IP aliases and not CARP interfaces, but
well, they're not gonna. Oh, have you got two of these firewalls?
yeah.
Yeah. You may need to look at doing CARP to make them fail over and things. But now, if you go to the VPN configuration, have a quick look at the phase 2 on that tunnel that works, because it looked to me like it was sort of set up.
Phase 2.
Tunnel IPv4. I'm surprised that works. You should be able. Anyway, you should be able to go to the phase 2 on the other one now. On the one that's not working.
Oh, do I need to make that other interface though? Like there's two of them, aren't there? Two customer gateways.
No, there should only be the one.
Because that there's two on this one, like 58.
Yeah, haven't you got two tunnels already? There was in the Amazon VPC, you certainly had 3 tunnels.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. One of them.
Not the other one. Yeah, it's not finished. It looks sort of half used.
Yeah, the other one. Well, see, because .62.58. If I go to this other config file, there's .62's right there, and then I think phase 2 here has.
Oh yeah, that's for the second tunnel. So yeah, I mean you can. But then you need to add, because what you haven't done on the other one is added the second phase 1 or the second phase 2.
Oh, right, because there's like a redundant, which doesn't make.
You set up 2 tunnels, and then you can do split horizon routing and things for that.
Which, yeah, that's probably
a good thing to do.
Yeah. So what does that give you, really?
It means that they can do maintenance on their VPN devices at their end, and you'll fail over without any issues. And equally, you could have the tunnels so that it goes to, you've got 2 of these firewalls, so you can have one tunnel to one tunnel to the other one. And if you enable their BGP mode, you can do all the dynamic routing and things like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, we do have BGP going on. So, wow, yeah, that would
Oh,
be.
you have BGP running, do you?
We do have. We do
Or the
have.
ability?
We're not using BGP like on these internal.
Okay.
Like we just have like BGP on like our public IP addresses and our like we have
Okay.
redundant routers.
Yeah. So it's just to deal with your upstream ISP, so that the failover is automatic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so that's great.
Okay.
Like I say, the phase 2 on the other one needs to be changed. I still can't understand how that phase 2 is working.
Yeah, this is kind of an anomaly. It seems.
So if
pfSense is like so phase 2 here.
yes. What's AWS VPN number 2? The grey one, is it disabled?
Yeah, it's disabled.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. Yeah, so if you change that mode from tunnel IPv4 to transport, yeah, and then save that and apply it, I suppose.
Okay.
Um,
And then, do we want to try to connect that up again?
yes, please. Sorry, I've led you amiss. If you can go into the IPsec phase 2 and change it back to the tunnel.
Yeah.
And our local subnet or local network is 169.254.12.58/30. Oh, I'm assuming that's the right one on the side there in that text file. This needs to be from tunnel 1. So
Okay.
yeah, it's sorry, yeah.
So it is this.
.122. Yeah, okay.
So I thought this was. Oh.
So what we're going to do is we're going to propose to Amazon a tunnel that's just these 2 IP addresses, and their end is their .121, and it needs to be /30 on the network at the top there. Sorry, first.
Yeah. /30.
Yep, correct.
Cool.
And then apply, connect, etc. That should now work.
So now this is just connecting the VPN, but there's no.
Correct. So you'll have a tunnel in place.
connecting.
Waiting. What you can do in the phase 2 is where it says for the ping at the bottom, if you put the next hop address, their next hop.
So 121.
So it'll just ping the gateway at their end.
Not bring it up faster.
Yeah, and there's one other thing we probably need to do, is go back to the virtual interface and just change its MTU. I've just realized it wants... What's that doing? Has it got an MTU? It doesn't have an MTU. So cancel that. And is there an MTU? The other one is bound to localhost. I'm wondering if you've got a smaller MTU on your localhost interface.
Like the WAN interface, or?
Well, no. If you notice, the other virtual IPs are bound to that localhost interface instead of the WAN. So if you can change that 12.122 to be bound to localhost instead.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I didn't notice that.
And theoretically, this should all now work.
Yeah. Apply that. Yeah, we've applied the... Why is this deleting?
It replaces itself. It's run out. It's it will have hit its lifetime. Why have we got any identifier on this?
I don't. That's
actually, yeah. If we go back to the IPsec and just check that.
Yeah.
And it's in phase 1.
Now the other one's configured like this to do my IP address and peer address,
Okay.
but I've also done it the other way, and it does the same thing. Like I think it's maybe a peer. Yeah, because what happens is once this fails, it'll say the remote ID and the local ID. It'll have IP address.
So that's fine then. So that tunnel should be trying to start. Have we got any logs on the anyway? Can we tail that instead of?
I don't think tail works on BSD. Maybe it.
Spitting out a little bit of binary there, but it looks like it works. Because at this point now, I'm pretty happy that this should actually work quite okay.
Cool.
There's no firewall rules blocking the outbound traffic or anything, is there?
No, there shouldn't be. We can take a look at them if you want, real quick.
Yeah,
but,
just make sure.
Yeah. So go over to IPsec here. so I created these all as a.
Yeah, okay. These are rules inside the tunnel though. But what about for the traffic to the towards the firewall itself? So on the WAN, port 500.
Oh.
That AWS, that one there.
Oh, which one?
So anything that's on port 500 for a start.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because you've got a different endpoint.
That's okay. That makes sense. So I just need to basically copy these rules.
Yeah, I think so. It's got a different IP address on their end.
Oh no, it's coming. That's not the one because this is the.
Yeah, if you do a search for port 500, that would be the best one to look for. It was further down, I think. So yeah, you need to do that, but with a new source address.
And out of this config file, which address would that be? Would it be
It would be 54.200.119.65.
Oh,
That's their IP address.
I see. That's like their whatever's doing their VPN.
Yeah. And then that should destination was the same. That should allow it to do phase 1.
Okay, so this is probably better. Wow, Amazon. Um, uh, maybe data acquisition VPN. So the question is with that. So this firewall here is .33.
Mm-hmm.
.34 is the other one.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if this needs to also be replicated for .33 for.
What was so actually wasn't it a carp address? A dot. What was the customer gateway in that config file? So the customer gateway is the .35, the carp address. So I guess you need to actually change it to be the carp address.
Gotcha. So I was wondering there.
I mean, you could almost do any, but
I wonder if we just need to make some aliases for all the possibilities. Just have one rule.
I think that would probably help.
One rule to rule them all. That's what. I mean, this is part of the problem is like we're going to
So yeah, so the initial phase 1 should happen now at least, or maybe we should get some logs or something.
Okay. So we've done the rules. Do we need to? Okay, looks like we've applied. We go back here and try to connect it again. I wondered if that thing's. Yeah, for some reason this feels like it's not working.
Yeah, it does.
OBSD. Wonder if that binary is because it's being written to.
Okay.
Oh, whoops.
Anna's here. Anna's here.
Just got a question.
Successful, and then that's kind of where it always ends. What is that?
Data acquisition AWS remote IP. So that 119, is that their endpoint for their VPN?
Yeah, that is.
Okay, so we're allowing all traffic there. So, okay, it looks like it is getting through the firewall then.
Yeah.
Can we turn down the verbosity on that logging for a bit?
Yeah.
Get it away from debug to, I don't know, what are the modes there?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, you know what? I can't remember how I even got to it. It's advanced settings, maybe. Oh, yeah, I turned everything on highest.
Probably not silent, but control maybe?
Oh, man, this is... Okay. Still connecting. Wonder if we need to do diag, because the connection's not showing now.
Okay, so.
Yeah, do that.
These firewalls are amazing.
I feel like there's some sarcasm.
Yeah, did you inherit them, or was this your choice?
I inherited these, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I am not a fan of them at all. And I'm surprised they work.
What's in the VPN menu at the top there? It said something about a VPC wizard. What the hell is that all about?
Where now?
So the VPN menu at the top? AWS VPC wizard.
Is that real? No way.
You know, you probably could have saved yourself a whole bunch of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what, though? I think I did this in the first one, and it didn't work.
That didn't work, okay. Looking at your tunnel configuration, it all looks fine. What's confusing me is how that tunnel works, that first one. Can you go back to the configuration? For the IP set?
Yeah. Phase 1 or 2 or?
What's the second tunnel, the one below it?
That's what I don't know. This was
Can you open that one out? Okay, so that
yeah,
looks to be the old one that's not working. Is
maybe
this firewall actually .35?
no, that's just a virtual.
Yeah, okay, but what I'm saying is, does this firewall own that IP address at the minute?
Um, yeah, it should. I mean, it's a virtual interface of it.
Yeah. No, I know I understand it's a virtual interface, but it could be present on either .33 or .34. Am I correct?
Yeah. Oh, I got you.
Are we
Yeah.
sure we're looking at the right firewall? Because I don't
Um,
understand how that configuration for the for that first tunnel is working. It shouldn't be. Oh, it says it's master. Okay. Yep.
yeah. Um, yeah. Let's see. .35. Yeah, it looks like this one does own it. Yeah.
Okay. Because, like I say, that first tunnel shouldn't be working. It should be
Oh man.
based on the config snippet you showed me anyway. Because its phase 2 should be for that pair of /30s.
Hmm. It's phase 2 should.
Its phase 2 should match up with the with you know how there was just the /30s and the other one's phase 2.
Yeah. You know what's weird about this though? This is how I hacked this the other time around. Is what I did was I just added a bunch of other little entries here with this button,
Yeah.
and I added the subnets, and I kept them all 000/0,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just changed the remote subnet for the subnets that actually exist in AWS where the RDS instance resides. And
Right.
then obviously people could route to it and stuff like that. But
Okay. Can you bring up a shell on the well, you've got that shell actually with the log. If we can just hop into that.
yeah,
And has this machine got TCP dump installed?
I hope so.
So do I.
Yeah,
Excellent. Okay. Let's do TCP dump space port 500. And one interface, that's going to be IGB. So, okay, so we've got it coming from 5187 and 5186. So what are we expecting from their end? Can we just have a little look at the config again?
yeah. The one that's working.
No, the one that's not working is fine. So
Oh, this.
186. So that one's 186.
Yeah, this is the one that is working.
Okay, and the other one, what was the virtual private gateway for the other one? 54, 200, 119. So is that 119.65? Are we sure that's in the firewall rules again?
This one here.
Yeah, in that first rule set that you had, AWS VPN.
Let's take a look here.
So that, yeah, see that's that first rule? Or that second, sorry, the first allow rule. Yeah, that one. 54, 200, 119. So it's within that, isn't it?
Yeah, it should be.
Yep, it does. Okay. So then we should be seeing some traffic on port 500 at least coming from Amazon. What I would recommend at this stage,
Mm-hmm.
I would actually recommend you open a ticket with AWS or a support case on their public forum, because to me it looks like their tunnel it's not initiating from their end. Nothing's happening.
Gotcha.
You
Yeah, I mean,
should, your logs are coming with nothing useful. I mean, honestly, your firewall configuration and your tunnel configuration is all a bit messed up, but there's nothing in the logs which is making me think that AWS are not initiating any connections. They're not. They're not, and they should be initiating a connection on port 500.
gotcha.
That should be happening without fail. Both ends should initiate that constantly just to check it's sort of working. Yeah.
Huh.
Other than that, I've got no real great suggestions at this stage.
Gotcha. Huh.
I could spend a lot of time pulling hairs out trying to figure this out, but I would expect to be seeing, like I said, I'd expect to see an entry in there for that IP address.
Right, and you're just not seeing it here at
No,
all.
there's just nothing at all. There's no traffic on the key exchange, because this is the traffic you would see here is the initial authentication stuff. So even if it fails, even if that's broken, you'll see the traffic. But the fact that there's absolutely no traffic going back and forth between their endpoint and yours tells me that something is very, very wrong, I think, at their end. I'm wondering if it's all the overlapping. Do you have support with AWS?
I don't know. We have like a whatever that is where you have a contract with them and your instance costs are a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe, but I would talk to AWS. I'm kind of getting a bit pushed for time, unfortunately.
Gotcha. No, that's cool, man. I definitely appreciate you doing that, and then we got off to a
it's a bit bumpy. I can come back to this a bit later on if you make any other headway. I don't know if you can communicate with me via Slack once all this is done. I've never actually used AirPair before.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so it's all kind of a bit new to me. But yeah, I mean, if you can get in touch with AWS and ask them to just confirm their end is working correctly, and then come back to me and maybe we can have another look. It may even be easier if you can sort of somehow provide me with access to the firewall, because it's just a bit quicker if I can click around and do things than sort of firing commands your way. If that's your preference, if you wanted to actually do it all yourself, that's fine too.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I mean, at this stage of the game, like I mean, you see the logs. It looks like from the IPsec logs that the firewall, the .35 address right here, is trying to get out to that address.
Yeah, and nothing ever comes back.
So that's what we're saying. That's what you're saying is that we try to initiate it, but they never.
Yeah, that's right. They're not coming back with anything, and they're not initiate. So what should happen in IPsec land is both ends initiate, and one of them wins essentially. But they should be trying to initiate. We're trying to initiate. We're not seeing anything coming back from their end. So I suspect there's something wrong with their VPC or their VPN configuration there.
Now, could it be the case that like I have this side of it set up wrong?
It could be. It could be that something's overlapping in there, but then it should warn you through the UI. So I suspect not. Normally with Amazon though, if you go and put a case, they don't really have support as such. You go and open a case on their forum and just say, look, this is the behavior I'm seeing. Often they'll come back very, very quickly and say, look, yes, we know there's an issue, or they'll have a look, or they'll tell you.
Gotcha. Huh. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess there's not much else we can look at.
Not
really.
a huge amount until maybe you can get in touch with AWS, like I say, just to confirm. I mean, if you've had it working previously with a static route over your old tunnel, and this is causing an outage, then my suggestion would be to put that back in place for now, to get it working, and then we can look at what the actual issue is here and how to straighten it up for you.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that.
So.
Okay. Well, cool,
All right.
man. Yeah, I appreciate all your help, man.
No,
That's
I'm
great.
sorry I didn't actually get you to the point where it's all working and everything's sort of clicking along, but it's yeah. I haven't touched PF for a very very long time, and I thought there kind of was a reason that I stopped using that stuff.
Yeah. Now, is there, in your professional opinion, what would
Yeah.
you be using instead? Like, we're all hoping.
What would I use? Well, those PF appliances you've got are just x86 boxes, aren't they?
Yeah, they're pretty
Yeah.
weak.
Well, it doesn't matter. Personally, I would install something like Vieta on them. The reason
Yeah.
I say that, yeah, it's a Brocade product. It's open source, so it is free. They basically their goal at the start was to emulate the Juniper CLI. So I'm not a particular fan of Juniper, but what that's meant is that you can find a lot of documentation on their CLI, even just by looking for Juniper equivalents. So you find a mass of people are experienced in it. I built massive solutions using it on AWS and SoftLayer and all sorts of other places. But it's nice. It's owned by a nice big network vendor in Brocade. So it's sort of going to work. And like I say, it's free. But yeah, it's probably not the time to talk about replacing your firewalls while you've got a production issue.
No, for sure. I'm just trying to kind of see what people are doing out there and get an
Yeah,
understanding.
so I mean, yeah, PFSense and CARP and the BSD world it works, but you're going to find it very difficult to get people who work with it. I mean, yeah, like I say, I would go for. I'm assuming you're a small startup. In small
Yeah.
startup land, I would say something like Viata. It's open source. It's got all the bits and pieces you need. If you were looking more as a sort of enterprise, then it's a different thing. But yeah, that would be my recommendation.
If you go enterprise, you're more looking Juniper or something like that.
Yeah, probably. I mean, the enterprise is one of these words that sort of people put on suits and just buy Cisco because that's what makes them feel better. There's nothing inherently wrong with Viata. I've used it for a 10 gig network that we had between San Jose and Amsterdam with two data center in each location, and it was on the backbone link we were running Viata, and in the core of the network we were running Viata, and it was fine. We just had to put it on servers with big CPUs and big network cards. So yeah, it's worth looking at.
Yeah, for sure. And it's automated. Like can you automate the configuration of it?
True DevOps style, no, not really. The API is a bit rubbish. But what I normally do is I use a lot of SaltStack, and I script the creation of configs, so that I'll create a script that will create the rule set, for example, for the firewall. So you can just run it, you get the whole rule set, you plonk it on the firewall, you're done. There is an API for keeping rules up to date, but it's not that great. I find it's easier just to dump out a rule set and apply that, and then you can use whatever. You can put that with cron and a couple of scripts to push it out all the time. But yeah, it's certainly automatable. So
Yeah, which is PFSense is not.
no. So essentially, what happens with the Viata router when you log in, when you SSH in, you're in a shell that is not a Linux shell. It is a Linux machine, but the shell interprets its config language, so that you can basically SSH to it with a key and just run all the config headless, and that all works, and it does roll back and version configs and stuff. It's a very very good piece of software.
Cool. Right on, man. Well, yeah. Again, I appreciate all your help, man. That
No,
was
that's okay.
great.
I know you're in a spot, so yeah. As I say, have you got a method to somehow back this out so you can get production running for you guys?
Yeah, I can get us going from here, I believe.
Okay, if you get yourself going, and just hit me up on Slack, and we can have a chat about how to make this stuff work a bit better, and if it needs a tidy up or you want to do that sort of stuff, and we can talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.